need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. All your local favorites: Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks. ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. It's more than just sports. KHS offers 50-plus movie channels, 150-plus entertainment channels, all your favorite news networks, and watch thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. All for just $40 a month with a one-time $2 billing fee. And you can watch up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the TV logo. That's ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Get ready.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop, Chef Ross, Big Cloud, Boston Tim, Caveman Rick. We have got a show for you. We're at an undisclosed location this afternoon, but I guess we'll disclose the location, right? Because Chef Ross is cooking up, and we are hosted today by Boston Tim.
You already said that before we were on.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I gave away the location on Facebook. I've got live from Boston Tim. So there you go. The location is known now. But again, it's David Hayes, Tyler Bishop, Chef Ross, Caveman Rick, Big Cloud, Boston Tim. We've got a fantasy draft tonight, and we've got people that got to get home a little early. So I said, Boston Tim, do you mind if we just do the show from your house? And he was like, A-OK. So here we go. Chef Ross cooking things up, man. Excited to try one of those smoked hot dogs this afternoon. You guys cannot call this afternoon, but you can text us at 850-215-6290. We are your home for the Auburn Tigers, the Mosley Dolphins, and the Atlanta Braves, who got a big win last night before the rain started. They were up 9-1, and then they take control of the rest of the game when we resumed. 10-6 win for the Atlanta Braves. So great stuff there. We got Schwellenbach on the bump tonight. He'll be going up against, I forget the guy's name. I don't have my show sheet in front of me, so we'll get that after the next segment. Man, excited to have this type of a show this afternoon. I do have to get this headphone amp working, though, here in a second. And I know exactly what the issue is. So we'll fix that here momentarily. But again, thank you guys for riding along with us. 850-215-6290 is the number to call. Fixing it live on the air. What a good board op I am. And now it sounds like we're at like a restaurant location or something. You know what I mean? It sounds like we're on a remote. And it's been a while since we've done that outside of the Mosley Dolphins broadcast, which you can listen to this Friday, 7 p.m. The game starts. The kick will be at 7, and that'll be Bay High hosting the Mosley Dolphins. David Hayes and Kyle Wright on the call. The pregame with Coach Brian Haddad and Andy Siegel will be live to you guys from the studio at 6 p.m. after the Afternoon Underdogs, which is going to be live from Tommy Oliver that evening. So that'll be a lot of fun. Appreciate the Bay County AD, Josh Latch, for making that happen. All right, so let's dig into it, man. Max DeLayden will be throwing plenty enough shade for us all here in just a few short moments when he arrives. However, Tyler Bishop is on the call here. It's Tangent Tuesdays with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm sure we're going to have a plentiful amount of tangents today, but let's start with you, man. Georgia Tech, the second Georgia team to take care of business against the Seminoles of Florida State here this last Saturday. And boy, let me say, it was great to have college football back with us. My goodness. I mean, every single game, bro. I watched every single game. Took a few naps in Hawaii and Delaware State. But outside of that, let's start with what got us started with the day, Florida State and Georgia Tech. Tyler Bishop.
I mean, for an opening week 0, noon kickoff, 11 a.m. our time, like, what more could we really ask for, right? It was a great, highly competitive game. It wasn't like Notre Dame Navy last year where it was decided in the first half. It wasn't the cleanest game. There was a little bit of weather going on, but the way Georgia Tech owned the line of scrimmage, I think, was probably the biggest shock for everybody.
Right.
Pete Thamel came out and said that Florida State had the best defensive line in the entire country. Matt Miller came out and said they had the most NFL talent on that defensive line in the entire country. Like, not just in the ACC, not in the state of Florida, in the entire country. When you're including teams like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, you're throwing those guys in there with that, and they get pushed around by Georgia Tech.
Did they get lost in customs?
They opted out before the game started, I guess. I don't know. But, and I felt like I was fairly high on Georgia Tech going into the year. I was a little bit last year going to the kickoff game against Louisville, picked them to beat Louisville, and I was wrong there. And I felt like I gave Georgia Tech a pretty good chance. And then I started wondering, am I down on FSU? Am I too high on Georgia Tech? So I actually kind of reeled it in and ended up picking Florida State by 11, I think, because that was where the spread was last week when we were doing the show. And for them to come out and play that well, and I think part of the issue is, Florida State downgraded in a lot of areas in the transfer portal from the guys they lost. They didn't replace them with Keon Coleman with a Keon Coleman. They didn't replace Johnny Wilson with a Johnny Wilson. Jordan Travis is a better quarterback, in my opinion, than DJU. And I think...
Even though DJ's got the best completion percentage right now in the nation.
Yeah, he's got
70.9%, baby. He does lead the nation.
Average
no
2 air yards per throw, but that's okay.
Right.
We're going to top. But I think it kind of shows, and I told Dave I had a take for this show coming into the weekend, and I think in the NIL, the portal era, leadership is so key. Teams built too heavily on NIL and teams built too heavily on the portal are never going to have great leadership. Or not going to say never. They're going to struggle with leadership because guys who are leaders are typically not going to chase the biggest bag. We've seen it with Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, other guys like that. And they're not going to be the guys who hop around year to year. They're going to be guys who are committed to the program, committed to the coach. And I think that's what Jordan Travis brought to that team last year more than anything else. Was leadership. He was there before Norvell. He was a 5-year guy. He had a full career at Florida State. They do not lose that game against Georgia Tech with Jordan Travis, not because of his on the field, but because of his leadership. And I think that's the biggest thing they were missing on Saturday. And I'm not sure leadership is something you can coach from week to week.
You definitely, and I'll let you get right back to it. You cannot coach leadership to a guy who has now been at 3 pretty big programs now. Yeah. Oregon State might not be Power 4 anymore, but they are part of the Power 2 in Washington State and Oregon State over there in the Pac-12. Caveman Rick, your thoughts?
Yeah, just if you're going to be a coach nowadays, I think it's pretty important, pretty pertinent that you got to have some dudes like Tyler was saying that are long-term dudes that are going to be there for the long haul, to have that leadership and that continuity, especially dudes on the offensive line, defensive front line, you know what I mean? Where most games are won down in the trenches. If you got those guys that know what's going on, that know the program, and like you said, have that leadership, Tyler, I think that helps out a lot. But changing, half your roster every season with the turnover, you can't expect, I don't think, to make great things happen.
I don't think Florida State had a starting skill position player return from that started that game that was a starter from last year. I think, DJU wasn't. Roy Dale Williams came from Bama.
Big Cloud, we're not on a camera, bro. You can come over here and there's microphones. Like, you can say what you got to say, but bring me the note that you got.
Oh, we're good. Malik Benson, came over from Bama. Like, they had a lot of guys that were transferred in, and that was their first game playing together. And I think we may have given Norvell a little too much credit for being able to get these guys to play as a unit. And I think we kind of saw what happens when you try to do that too many times. You kind of go to the, like they say, he went to the well one too many times. And obviously their season's far from over, 12-team playoff. They could still run the table, win the ACC. And we're sitting here looking like, that was a one-off game. But, man, it was to get dominated in the trenches on both sides of the ball almost all game long. I missed their opening drive. So outside of that,
but that was the bet. Like, when you watch the opening drive, I can only imagine as a Florida State fan the inflation and then the deflation that came after witnessing that first drive. But that was the bet. I mean, you really thought, oh my goodness, Florida State did come for revenge. They came for some payback. And then right after that, it was kind of like a Buffalo Rock product that you left the lid off for a little bit. It just fizzed on out of there. Chef Ross, your thoughts?
So how do you get that 4 or 5 year commitment when every school's throwing the bag at these 5 stars, everybody's recruiting these 5 stars, and then if you don't play your freshman year, 17 other schools are telling them that, hey, you may not be able to play here, but you come to my school, you can start tomorrow. So how do you get that guy that Saban and Dabo Sweeney and Urban Meyer and the great coaches of our early lifetime, how do you build those kind of programs in today's college football?
Well, I think Florida State was on the route. And I'm not saying that, look, they can get right back to the college football playoff, right? All they have to do is one thing. And compared to maybe the ACC and Big Ten, which I would argue maybe that it's a little bit more simpler in the Big Ten this year than it is in the ACC, because when you look at the teams, when you look at some of their schedules, maybe the paths can get a little bit more discombobulated by the teams that maybe not have a whole bunch of talent, but because of their schedule might be able to eke out a few more wins than some other teams. I think in the Big Ten, we're really looking at a 2-horse race here, and then the SEC, that's the Wild Wild West to some extent here. But Florida State does have the path back. And that's one thing I think that Florida State fans need to keep with them until at least Monday, because if you don't beat Boston College by 17.5, I mean, Bill O'Brien's up there, right?
Yeah.
Tyler, myself, we like that addition. But does a coach change a program like, and Boston Tim's a Boston College guy, does he change a program like Boston College in, essentially over a night?
No, I don't think so. But, I mean, to Ross's point, it's hard. I will say, as much crap as I've given Dabo on this show and over the course of his tenure, he's been able to build a culture that people buy into. And there's a reason why, Saban and Kirby and even, Ryan Day's doing a pretty decent job of, retaining these guys. Some of it's money, some of it's prestige, some of it's almost the guarantee of playing for a championship. But, that's the struggle, is getting guys to buy in. And that goes to the kids you recruit. It goes to how you build your program. That's why you never saw Jimbo be super successful. Those guys were mercenaries going for the payday. Those are not the kind of guys, those are the talents you want, but those aren't the mental, attitudes you want. Guys searching for the biggest handout. I'm not saying, Georgia guys don't get paid at all. But, Georgia's not typically going to be the program that offers the most amount of money. Bama was not doing that with Saban. And I think that's how you build those cultures, of guys not going there just for the money or just for whatever. You have to get guys that want to be better than themselves. That, it's bigger than me. And it's hard to do.
I love that answer, because you actually answered the question. I got up on a tangent, and then when I'm hearing your answer, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I was supposed to say. So I think Florida State, though, is been headed in the right direction, though. And the only, what do they call? I mean, Lane Kiffin, I would say, is transfer portal king. Is the portal king, if you will.
I'd argue Norvell's better. I think so far he's been better as a transfer portal guy.
That's exactly the lane I was trying to get into. So why was DJU? Either there was a heavy belief in the fact that DJU could be completely different. Not like he was bad at Oregon State, but completely different from the guy that we saw for 2 seasons in Clemson and then over there at Oregon State. I believe 2 seasons at Clemson, right? Maybe he didn't play a full 4 games in one of those seasons.
The backup for Lawrence Then he had a full season as a starter. So maybe it was.
We'll say 2 seasons
Yeah,
at Clemson. And fact check at 850-215-6290. Also on Facebook, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Let me pose a question to you guys and see what you guys think. Now with FSU just taking this loss to Georgia Tech, they were ranked at number 10 going in, right? Obviously the rankings won't come out till next week because there was only a few games this past week, right? Rip the Band-Aid off, not 10 anymore, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think they go?
I kind of joked with somebody that they were going to be ranked higher in the AP poll than they are in the ACC. Like I could see them only drop. I could see them dropping like 16. Again, a lot of it will depend on what happens in front and behind them, but the especially week 1, like voters don't like to admit they were wrong. So even because a top 10 team lost, they don't want to admit like, oh, they probably shouldn't have been ranked at all, or they should have been in the 20s. Like they want to say, no, we knew what we were talking about. It was just a fluke. Like we're going to keep them 16. Like it honestly would not surprise me if they're higher in the AP poll than like the ACC standings, which was kind of hilarious to look at because they're the first ever team to be ranked 17 in the ACC.
Yeah,
that's a whole different bar for them. But
boy, he came in ready. He was like a big old oak tree. Like, all right, it's time to throw some shade, y'all.
Barrett,
Max Delight,
sorry.
and Barrett, he might have his opportunity to have a little debating going on here because I also got a guy in a Cowboys jersey and an Eagles jersey standing right next to us. So. Hey, we can't hear you over there. If you want to come take my headset and talk. But Caveman Rick will be back on. Max Delight, go ahead. My bad, Bub.
Hey, good games this weekend, huh?
I mean, I thought there was
the underdogs. You were making some money this weekend.
That's the only game I didn't take the daggone points in, man.
I'm wrong a lot of the time on football, so I'd like to take this time to victory lap with Tyler for a sec here. It's bad for the area when FSU loses, so I don't really, want to cheer for that,
we'll do the business plug in the next segment.
No, for like bars and everything.
No,
my buddy was like, well, shoot, dude, 0-1 over at Andy's. Friend was like,
oh, yeah.
But, they kind of are who a lot of us thought they were outside the ACC, I think. DJ is still DJ.
Hey, I'm sure you've been working on this all week.
Oh, no, you're good.
I just want to pause for a comment real quick from Brent. He says you cannot put Tech at 10 because they beat 10. I don't think we were ever talking about where Tech is going to be, but rather where Florida State falls to.
And I would bet money that Florida State will be ranked above Georgia Tech next week.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
And that's wild to an extent, but we're also talking about one game. Now, Georgia Tech, let's be honest, though. If we were to keep it 100, shouldn't Georgia Tech be ranked above Florida State?
Based on the evidence we have right now, yeah. Granted, this weekend's games could make that look like a really foolish shape.
And I think that's the reason why you can't do that, because a full season has to be played. So let's say you put Georgia Tech up here at, let's say Florida State falls to 17 and you put them at 15. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which that's kind of wild to say. But if you do that and then Georgia Tech goes on to lose 4 to 5 more games this year and Florida State only 1 more, then that fall for Georgia Tech could be a little less harmful to them than the fall for Florida State. So
it's always better to lose in September, August than it is to lose in January or November, December.
Bama last year against Texas. Max, back to you. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I don't care. I'm happy for them. First time to be 17th in the ACC. A lot of it falls on Norvell, in my opinion. I didn't think DJ was necessarily horrible. He wasn't spectacular by any means. Didn't have any good deep balls really throughout the game.
Right.
They were very conservative, just throwing mostly just slants across the middle.
Yeah.
I like Norvell's balls going for it on 4th down, and obviously that field goal. If they didn't hit that 59-yarder, it's okay. We can say balls. We're not in the studio today. Come find me, Randy. At the end of the day, I think a lot of it falls on Norvell. I mean, he got out-coached by Brent Key. Credit to him, who's kind of, this is his first head coaching job, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's been a coordinator
and still
there.
Hasn't lost to an ACC top 10 opponent ever.
5-0.
Yeah,
there you go. That's 5-0. Like saying someone hasn't lost is like one of those skewed statistics. Not saying that you were skewing the statistic, but you can be like, he's 1-0 against other teams, and okay. But 5-0, super impressive. Again, sorry for the interruption.
No, you're good.
Pardon it, if you will.
I love those kind of stories though too, when it's a coordinator who's just like his first coaching job. Really, it kind of feels like not like it's you or me, but it does to an extent. Like he's been through the ringer. He's been at so many different schools, and
well, the great thing about Brent Key is he's a Georgia Tech alum.
Yeah.
Like he's an O-line coach. Like they have a little bit different mentality. Like he coached for Saban. He's coached, he's coached around the league, and he's one of the few guys that like loves Tech. He's a Tech guy. So I mean, and he's not a guy who's going to use it to springboard. I'm not saying of Florida or Tennessee came calling, he wouldn't leave.
How big of a move up is Florida from Georgia Tech right now?
Right now, is it a move up? I mean, is that a debate?
Hey, a little bit more shade. I feel like when Delighting comes on, we all go wild card.
Pockets are deeper is all I can say.
I mean,
no doubt. I was being highly facetious to an extent, though. Like, as far as where they're at
as a team right now, I don't know if I would take Tech over Florida. I don't know if I wouldn't bet on Tech over
in a game on
Florida
the football field.
Yeah, on the football
no
field,
doubt.
no, but boosters.
But let's see what happens week 1 here. Florida and Miami. That's going to be a fun one. Go ahead.
One thing I do feel bad for Florida State fans, like genuinely feel bad for, is like last year, obviously go undefeated, get counted out, and get there were guys sitting out on both sides, get absolutely embarrassed by Georgia, though, 63-3, and then you come back and like what sucks for them is people are going to reference this game as another reason as to why they shouldn't have been in the playoff, and that's not the case.
Even though it's a stupid argument.
Stupid argument, but
right.
People are stupid on Twitter, and like I feel bad for them, like just because this just doesn't help their case, and the state of Georgia is going to be on them indefinitely.
Now, I am fine with that argument.
That is kind of fun.
Georgia got you. The whole state, dadgummit.
And you can, make the excuse of Dublin, whatever, but the FSU roster, top to bottom's a lot deeper, a lot more talented, and I think a lot of it kind of goes back to all the way back when we were at the old ESPN studio when Tyler made the statement that FSU beating LSU might have been the worst step forward for a program. I think that's like always rung in my head because Norvell, sure, he developed Travis after a few years, had those star players, but he kept trying to establish the run and it wasn't working. And there were a lot of kind of like, for lack of a better comparison, Matt Nagy-isms.
I like it.
Where it's like,
that is not a compliment.
Like 4th and 8, and you throw the ball 4 yards deep. Like, come on, that's like one of my pet peeves. Like walking in a runner at the bases loaded.
I mean, I get you gotta run the play that Coach called, especially now with helmet communications, and we'll talk a little bit more about Connor Stallions and the new documentary here in a little bit because Chef Ross has witnessed it. But with that being said. I just lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Connor Stallions.
Well, no, it was
the play's being called. You got to go.
Oh, the play's being okay. So with that being said, if I'm a wide receiver, what do they teach you in high school and youth football? Get to the sticks, right? Get to the sticks. If anyone's going to go beneath the line to gain, there could only be one receiver doing that. Maybe a tight end, right? You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, exactly, to kind of pull the defense off you. But outside of that, if coach calls like a 3-yard curl and we need 8 yards, I'm doing an 8-yard curl dadgummit.
Yeah, no, the whole play, the play calling was questionable. The game plan itself, like, if you were Florida State, you got to be very just disheartened by the way Norvell called that game. Like, either called that game because he didn't believe in DJU, which is a concern.
Do you think that he didn't believe in him, or he kind of felt like he knew the capabilities of him?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. He knew he called the game because either he knew DJU's limitations or he thought his O-line would just straight up manhandle Georgia Tech and vice versa. And neither of those things, and those didn't happen.
Right.
And if he's calling because of DJU's limitations, that means it's not a problem that can be fixed. So it's a concerning way, and it took him 3.5 quarters to really open it up. That drive they had to go for the multiple 4th downs, and DJ looked great on those 2 4th downs. Those are 2 of his best 3 throws all day.
Right.
So that's kind of a concern. It's a concerning. There's a lot to be concerned about. Nothing that can't not be fixed, but there's a lot to be concerned about after game 1.
Well, we've got a lot more to go on this game. I'm sure we're not even close to done because Max just got in the building. We are live from a disclosed location. That would be Boston Tim's. Everybody give us a shout out to Boston Tim today because it is his birthday. You can reach out to him on Facebook if you want to. Timothy Vermette. The man is awesome. I promise you would love to meet him. And a great way to meet him would be going to some of those beat down at the beach events. Maybe more on that a little bit later here. But you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. I want to give a big shout out to Certified Gearhead Motorsports. Scott and Adam took great care of me over there. Y'all go check them out, man. Certified Gearhead Motorsports. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to go under the lights? Mosley Dolphin football is back.
Wide open down the sideline.
ESPN Northwest Florida brings you live play-by-play coverage all season long. With David Hayes.
Touchdown, Mosley Dolphin.
And Kyle Wright.
You take the top off the defense, and the interception turns into points for the Mosley offense.
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Tuesday. Likely thunderstorms and light rain the remainder of the day with a wind at 9 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast and 89. Tonight, look for mostly clear skies with a temperature near 78. Tomorrow, a high around 89 and mostly sunshine in the morning followed by light showers. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a place that feels like home right in the heart of Panama City? Well, look no further than Charlie Corm's place at their new location on 15th Street. Charlie Corm's is not just a place, it's an experience. Imagine cozy corners, friendly faces, and the aroma of delicious dishes that'll make your taste buds dance. From sunrise breakfast to late night bites, Charlie Corm's on 15th Street has it all. Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street is now offering exclusive weekday lunch specials. Visit Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street. Look for the giant mural.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Be here for every huge moment of the Atlanta Braves season as we load up for a run at the division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Tonight, be here for Atlanta Braves baseball live from Target Field in Minnesota as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Twins.
Coverage starts at 6, first pitch at 6:40 on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN, Northwest Florida.
It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Now, the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back live from Boston Tim's house. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Atlanta Braves tonight. Coverage starts after the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to be drafting, but of course I'll have the ESPN Northwest Florida app up. I'll tell you how to get that in just a second. But the Atlanta Braves coverage starting at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:40. Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound for the Braves tonight, and he had a good outing against the Phillies last time, so hopefully he can keep it rolling.
Chop off.
Oh, listen to that Philly guy over there. But yeah, 850-215-6290 is the number to text this afternoon as we're not able to take calls. We are live on location at the birthday guy's house. I almost said birthday boy, but I just don't think it's right to say birthday boy about Boston Tim. He's a man.
He's 40.
Is this the big 4-0?
He doesn't have a mullet, though.
I don't know. That's a Mike Gundy thing.
Yeah, it's a Mike.
Yeah. All right, so anyways, we do have a couple of comments that we'll dive into here in a second, couple of questions sent to me, and you guys can send some as well, 850-215-6290. But this is your Minute with Max, and Max Delight, and tell the people what it is that you do and how you can help them.
Yeah, over at Allegiant Lending Firm, 850-565-1160. We can help you out with your residential loans, condos, manufactured homes, townhomes, you name it. Give us a shout.
There you go, man. Everything going well, right?
Yeah, we're staying busy.
There you go. All right, so how about in the world of college football? Any other thoughts, man? FSU, Georgia Tech, I know that you said you got 2 hours on this, so where do you want to head next with the Georgia Tech, Florida State game?
I think Tyler had some good comments before the break.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be like a Skip Bayless with that Matt Nagy comment. I think it was kind of similar, though, like where he felt limited with Mitch Trubisky and what his skill set was. I mean, I think a lot of Florida State fans probably overshot their expectations for DJ just based off the fact that, he came out of Clemson, then went to Oregon State. And, just because you dominated the Pac-12, for a mid-tier team doesn't mean you're necessarily an elite quarterback. And I don't know. The question at the end of the day is, how was Barrett so wrong?
Wow. Throwing shade you should have waited for that statement.
I thought he walked in.
Oh, is Barrett here? Okay, I don't think Barrett's here yet.
there were a lot of absolutism, a lot of confidence, coming off that. And
there was way more worse things, as Tyler gave us plenty of evidence in through our group chat.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of, Knowles by 100 was something I saw over and over. Oh, it's not personal, it's business. All right, and I don't blame you as a fan. You said this yesterday on the Inside Drive via a comment, but the question was yesterday, do you talk trash before, or was it before or after?
Yeah, do you talk trash after the game or any other time? It's like, if you're going to talk trash, you talk it beforehand. You say what you got to say, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. Yeah. And you own it. But, there's no, I think talking trash after the game has happened. You do it, but if you don't talk trash beforehand, it's like knowing it's like knowing the answer after you take or before you take the
I think the only people I will talk trash with, though, in all reality, is my friends, especially when it comes to college football.
For sure.
Now, I might talk trash for the NFL with the Tennessee Titans because, let's be honest, who's really taking them serious? Now, we might at some point in the season, who knows? Week 1, I think that's a breeze by. We got the Chicago Bears. We're going to welcome Caleb Williams to the NFL. So, that was, I'm actually really excited about that game. I think me and Max have a hat bet, or if I don't see you wearing a lot of hats, so I can either buy you a hat or the equipment. All right. Hat bet again.
Pick the hat, though, right, of choice?
Yeah. You get to, we go to Lids together or online, whatever.
The
you
world's
pick
our
the
oyster.
Hat. Exactly.
Rob
and that's how it
Johnson's
goes.
listening.
Rob Johnson is behind and Drew Gorman is behind. But, I don't care about all of that, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? No, shout out to Rob Johnson for even, I love the hat bets, man. I love the ideas of those.
My friend and I used to have a thing called a hat bet, but it was, for absurd things. So it was it was, I think, the SEC championship 2018 when Hurts was Bama was close with maybe Georgia or someone. I don't know.
So 2018 would have been Tua starting and Jalen taking over. Right, because 2017 was Tua and Jalen and then Tua. I saw this I was looking for what game was it on? That was on Montana State and New Mexico. I was looking for that game because I was just so curious of. Is Montana State gonna beat New Mexico? New Mexico's an FBS team. Montana State an FCS team. They're gonna beat them by 11.5. Actually, the line moved up to 13.5. Couldn't believe that. So I stumbled upon a Tua Tagovailoa documentary. Nice. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling about the Braves right now? Harris is back.
Well, Harris is back. Did he come back today again? Because I don't know if he played yesterday. Okay, did. All right. So I don't think that the injury he sustained by getting hit by a pitch in the hand the other day was as bad, nowhere near as bad, obviously, as Austin Riley's. Yeah. I'll say this again, as I've been for maybe since the All-Star break, maybe a month before the All-Star break. Cautious. You know what I mean? Yeah. I hope that the Braves are going to, I think they'll hold on to the final wild card spot. And what have we as Braves fans?
I think right now 3.5. It's like the Mets.
It was 2.5. It was 2.5 as of last night. I don't know what the Mets did last night. Honestly, the only two games that I watched last night was the Phillies and the Astros. Right, Bryce Harper getting the walk off.
Yeah, walk off.
Trying to give you a little opportunity over here, Cape Van Rig, to do some
boasting. The
boasting.
Needed that too. With you can't be blowing those ones with Wheeler. Suarez looks like he's kind of back.
Yeah.
It was disheartening to see Hector Neris pitch well for the Astros after we cut him.
But what we said for the last 2 years is the fact that the Braves haven't been playing necessarily meaningful games in the month of September primarily is that, and last year you could even say the second half of August, maybe the last week in August and the month of September. Could that be a reason why the Philadelphia Phillies in the last 2 years were able to dispatch of them in the playoffs? But I think one thing is for certain, since Rob Thompson has taken over as the manager, the Phillies have been in good hands.
Yeah, and it's weird because all of the top teams in baseball the past month or so kind of feels like they all took it off. No one was hot, if that makes sense. The Indians and Royals battling for the Central, but
hey, the Central's a little bit. Twins are in there too, right?
Yeah, it's skewed though because I don't know, the NL Central still held their own with them, and I think the NL Central is pretty awful. The Cubs are in 500. They're 500 and they're in second place. So
yeah,
but we handled the Indians, Royals. We were winning all those series. Another thing too. Do you think Judge is going to get 62 again?
62.
He's incredible.
He's at what, 52 now
51.
after the home? Oh, 51. I thought he had 50 and 51 Sunday, and then he hit one last night, didn't he?
No, he robbed one.
Oh.
Yeah, he did rob a nice one. He got a nice catch, top play.
Are you sure he didn't hit a home run last night?
Positive. He robbed it. It's crazy, too, because, I know, pundits need stuff to talk about, but I don't even know how that's an MVP discussion at this point. He's putting up, Bond statistics, and it's cool Bobby Witt steals bases, but it's not that plus value when you're 25 for 37. That's not as like beneficial to a team.
25 for 37,
on
meaning
stealing bases.
Oh,
He's been caught stealing.
he's been caught stealing
33% of the time. Yeah.
That's
not as
there's
like
a fair fact. Also,
because he's already a menace on the base path, so like you don't need to.
How impressive is it? Because 25 of 37 is not a great percentage there for a guy who has speed. Like if Shohei Ohtani is 40 of 52 or something like that, he's got 40.
Yeah.
I don't know what his percentage is, but I don't think that it matters.
I have a big old man take here.
Oh, here we go. Like, get off my lawn type take?
This is like,
here we go.
So
you don't even got a whole bunch of grass at your place, do you?
AG's not even here yet. I'm old man grumpy here.
It's all right.
Like the Acuna thing, I think, too, it hit personally because he, like, celebrated it against the Cubs mid-game in, like, the 7th or 8th inning, then we blew the game.
Yeah.
But these stolen bases records, like, or accomplishments are cool, and I don't want to discredit it, but at the same time, I kind of do because the pitch clock and not being able to pick off as much, it's kind of...
The disengagements, to me, pitch clock is one thing.
It's good for the game.
Because the pitcher knows the pitch clock as well, but once you throw over to first base twice, you've almost given a fast guy a free pass to second base.
Yeah, to know he can go, and it's like, it's cool, and I'm not trying to take it away, like taking advantage of your speed all day long. Like Pete Crow Armstrong, great at it too. Like that inside the park number was sweet.
14.08
He's
seconds.
so fast. But
only fastest person was
it's just hard. Like Shohei's 40-40 is awesome, but like to me, it's not as cool as like even like Bond's 30-30 when it was hopefully steroids.
Hopefully pre-steroids.
He was running, yeah. But like I don't know. Obviously, Shohei's. I think the MVP races are all but done, and the Cy is done in the AL.
I will say this, right? The 40-40 is maybe less impressive as what it was possibly 3 years ago, right?
Right.
But there's still only 6 people. He's only the 6th man to get it done. So the fact that he was the first Dodger, the fact that, and again, Shohei's not necessarily known for his speed among the other things that he is. He really is, though, and I think when you watch him, you understand that.
There's nothing he's bad at.
I know. That's the bad part,
there is
right?
no weakness.
Like, if his arm wasn't messed up, he'd be out there in the outfield. But they would have DFA'd Jason Hayward before he ever signed with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They would have never signed him because he would have been able to be out there at least 3 days a week.
Hayward's really hedging his bets, too. If the Dodgers win, he gets a ring. If the Astros win, he gets a ring now because he signed with the Astros.
Oh, he signed with the Astros. I was slightly hoping. I didn't think that he would make some type. He's not going to move the needle for the Braves, but yes, it would have been nice.
Maybe it would have given him a little juice just to end the career,
I mean, look at daggone Whit Merrifield. It looks like he's back at the Kansas City Royals right now.
I know.
You know what I mean? And I'm only saying that because
faces.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's not sustained success either right now. So we're kind of early into the venture, but he's had more success, I think we can say, with the Braves to this point than he did with the Phillies, right? And what's weird for me about that is the fact that with the Atlanta Braves in the past, right, when they did have the lineups clicking at a good rate, when you would plug someone in who just got DFA'd or AA would make a move, like even Jorge Soler, when we brought him over, his numbers shot through the roof, right? Because
or like
when you
bums like Orlando Arcia.
Right, because hitting is contagious, right? Hitting is contagious.
It is.
So with that being said, I'm surprised that some of these moves that he's made, and again, you can never discredit Alex Anthopoulos. If you're a Braves fan, you know all the great things that he's done for this organization, but it's still wild that it's starting to click a little bit here, and I might be a little bit early. We're going to find out this weekend when the Braves are on the road at Citizens Bank against the Phillies.
Yeah,
so
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Chop off.
That's the only thing you got to say.
I mean, I just like it, dude.
It's
2 words that I can say that I can upset a huge, large fan base around.
There you go. 850-215-6290. Give us a text for Caveman
You can
Rick.
also use the term yellow jacket. That works pretty good around here, too.
Yeah.
At least for the next few days.
Yeah.
My guy
Put one in the house for
my guy says, how many bases would Ricky Henderson have stole with the new rule?
A ton.
180, I think, on an average basis. I mean, if he was getting 100 back in the day.
What's his record? 126? Probably 200.
I would say you probably add another 25%, 30% at least.
All right, so
for the bigger pads.
Who's got the quick mats for us on that? 18
so if it's
plus
like
3 is still 22, y'all.
His record is 130.
So 130.
130.
The most he would, I would say probably like 25 to 30% more stolen bases.
So at like
another like 40 something.
155, 160.
Which team has the most losses ever in professional sports from Wright
Well, not
State?
that many.
Hey, we can
percentage-wise on top of that.
we could
So if
just
he's got
play
like 130,
live. Ask me
quarter
any
of that,
trivia
you're looking at
question.
40, so you're looking at like 170.
That's when I hit the
almost,
Google
yeah.
machine.
All right, here we go. One at a time on the mic. So, what were you saying? Caveman?
Oh, sorry, my bad. We were talking like 175 maybe on the stolen bases.
Okay,
I was saying 30% more than what is
170
most.
And that's what I'm saying with 80 is that would be an average. Like that would be his average per year, at least for his career, right? I mean, the dude was something else, man. And he would say Ricky was the greatest, not even I was the greatest, because they like to talk in third person.
As he should.
All right, so what? Oh, Caveman Rick. The answer to the trivia question brought to us by Wright State Chris, which was which team has the most losses ever in professional sports?
I know that answer.
What is it?
Philadelphia Phillies.
Have you been counting them?
No, I know
11,313.
We were the first to 10,000, but it's not because we lost a lot, but we've been around for like 120 years or whatever. You know, when you're around that long, you're going to, take smells. As long, and a bunch of W's too.
A bunch of W's along the way as well. When was the last World Series for the Phillies?
Back in 08.
I will say
Jimmy
that.
Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
beat Tampa
Over
Bay.
the Rays. Yep. Man, that was a fun World Series.
Joe Madden, was coaching the Rays at the time and stuff. Had who was it? Matt Stairs was big that year. Hamels.
Matt Stairs.
Jason Worth, Shane Victorino.
Who's your favorite Philly of all time?
Favorite? It's probably Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Yeah, Schmidt and London, Pete Rose when I was a kid too.
Is Utley up there?
Even though, I like Utley. But as a kid, it's more like the guys growing up. Von Hayes, Tug McGraw. I'm not a country music fan at all. I hate country music, right? Everybody pretty much knows that if they know me.
Another reason to hate
Tim McGraw, the only thing he's got going on, his dad was a great pitcher and he played for the Phillies and he helped win the World Series back in 1980. So he's got a cool dad.
I like that. Favorite Cub of all time, Max Delyden?
That's a hard one.
Scott Brocious. All right, heck of an answer.
Yeah, a couple era ones. I'd go, Sammy Sosa, Ron Santo, and then in current, I love prime Chris Bryant, which was only a few years.
Okay, yeah. Man, so you were
MVP.
pretty down about him going to Colorado. I think he was pretty down about the after
and
effects of
Arrieta.
that, right?
Peak Arrieta was awesome.
Yeah, no
We
doubt.
had that post All-Star game, 0.6 ERA.
I would say that if we're talking eras, it would I don't know, Hendricks, man.
Kyle Hendricks is awesome.
Henry Rowan-Gardner.
Y'all DFA'd him this year, I believe, right?
No, we kept him.
Oh, you kept him. Okay.
For a ripe $16.5 million.
Oh my God! I thought that something went up.
It was kind of out of respect. You earned it. Pitch game 7.
Someone had brought up yesterday on the Inside Drive, who's the pitcher in today's game that reminds you the most of Greg Maddux? And I'm off the top of my head, I really can't think of anyone.
Probably Hendricks.
Hendricks was the closest. Now that he's been brought up into the equation.
AG would have
here.
an aneurysm at that, but it's true.
Yeah, but he's just he just doesn't like the way that
he hits the spots.
He hits the spots.
Soft contact.
Man. Have you watched the documentary yet?
Hit the spots.
Have you watched the documentary yet?
No, I haven't
been able to see it. Have you seen the Connor Stallions documentary?
Not yet.
The only person who has is Chef Ross, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we return. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. You guys can text us today. We're not taking calls. 850-215-6290. It's David Hayes, Tyler Bishop, Caveman Rick, Big Cloud, Chef Ross, Max Delyden, and Boston Tim. We'll be right back here in a few short moments.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Tuesday. Likely thunderstorms and light rain the remainder of the day with a wind at 9 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast and 89. Tonight, look for mostly clear skies with a temperature near 78. Tomorrow, a high around 89 and mostly sunshine in the morning followed by light showers. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take control of your adventure and discover the new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours in an all-new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/3/24.
Taco Bell is now on DoorDash in Port St. Joe. That's right. You can enjoy our craveable tacos, burritos, and more delivered right to your door. Plus, our Tyndall Parkway location is open late, 2 a.m., 7 days a week. Craving a late night snack? We've got you covered. Start your day off right with our delicious breakfast menu available until 10 a.m. Famous Crunch Wraps, Cinnabon Delights, and iced Cinnabon coffee. Taco Bell, where the craveable comes true. Visit us at our beach locations or Tyndall Parkway in Port St. Joe. Order on DoorDash today.
Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I think we are live here. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdog. Got a little poor network connection for some reason, but we should be okay. Let us know if you're hearing any issues on your end. 850-215-6290. I'm sure we're going to dive back into some FSU talk here shortly as the biggest FSU fan possibly in this group. I don't know. Danny G.
No, it's Barrett. It's Barrett.
Barrett's the biggest fan.
Danny's well,
he went
Danny's
there.
an alum, so
yeah. So there is that.
I think the ins and outs
that's
of Barrett.
that's a fun debate. Does it really mean that you're a bigger fan because you went there? You know what I'm saying? Like if you
0%.
spent, and I think that's easy for us to say, right? Because I didn't go to Bama, you didn't go to Georgia, Barrett. I don't think you went to Florida State, but you're an IU guy. So if you saw a guy and you sit there and you chat with him, and he's giving you all kind of stats and names from IU's history, which is really hard to do. No, but if you were, does it make you automatically a bigger fan because you're an alum?
No, I mean, I think, there's different fans for different fan bases, and I think, it might hit harder sometimes if you went there and went to all the games all those 4 years maybe. But, I mean, in that case, maybe
if you played for the team, right?
No, I mean, but I think in our fantasy league per se, I think Barrett knows, a lot more about the team, like the ins and outs, the transfers.
Here we go.
No,
we're going to pit him against the... No, I know that. I'm just saying...
Hold on. Did Max just give me a compliment
I think he
on
did.
the air?
Everybody
could hear this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's recording, too, so I'll send you the clip.
Yeah, we can walk it back, and I would like to know how you were so wrong.
Which part was I wrong about? I don't ever remember. I mean, college football doesn't start till week 1, right?
That was
preseason. That was preseason game, right?
Undefeated in country borderlines.
I mean,
still undefeated in America, so it's okay. We're still unconquered. If
you don't play in the United States, it doesn't count as a loss. That's what I was told. But no, back to that question. I don't think if you go to the school, you should be a bigger fan or declared as a bigger fan than anyone else. I mean, heck, I didn't go to FSU, and I got FSU tattoos. My whole family loves FSU, and it's hard to find anyone that's a bigger diehard FSU fan than I am. So,
I mean, I think as long as you're just consistent with your fandom. Like, I mean, I can't stand somebody who's like, oh, I like Alabama, but I also kind of like Auburn. Like, you can't be like that. Those type of people are the worst. Like, it's like
so. Your kids went there. If you have like the house divided, Bama, Auburn, you're.
But house divided is something totally different.
Well, but if it's like you like both of them, you're a loser.
But that's okay. That's a mind divided. That's not a house divided.
And you're not.
Okay, all right. So let's say husband goes to Alabama, wife goes. That's a house divided.
Yeah. But if you were like, oh, hey, I'm David Hayes, I'm a Bama fan and I'm a Georgia fan, I'd be like, get.
So listen, if you see me riding around ever with a house divided thing, right? And it says Alabama, Florida. That's just David Hayes and Ralph Jackson. That's all that. No, but we got Kyle Albert in chat chiming in. He says, well, hold on, let me scroll back up. He says essentially that it means more for sure if you're an alum. I think he went to Florida. I'm not sure about that.
That's his biggest. He always says, "Well, I went to Florida, so I know everything, and that makes me a bigger fan."
Now, I
than
will
you.
say this. He knows a lot about Florida.
He does.
He does know a lot about Florida.
I don't blame somebody for like feeling like, oh, I went there, I was there for 4 years, like because you are living in the town, right?
Yeah,
you are going
no doubt.
to the game, like you're going to probably more than just like the big games. You're going to every camp, like, and I get the mindset, but like, I'll challenge anybody here for their Georgia fan.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
cool.
see,
I didn't go to
I think,
Georgia.
all right, but here's another.
Maybe you feel like the highest of highs longer and the lowest of lows longer because like it's in the air. You're in the campus, like you're around the environment.
Have you ever timed out how long you've been low after a game?
Yes, Indiana basketball.
Oh yeah,
Indiana basketball is my 13th reason why.
And the closer
2021 SEC championship right there with you.
The closer that you're attached to it.
Saturday, Iowa.
We need to have a mic over here. What's Big Cloud? What'd you say? Oh, Dallas Cowboys fan. Big Cloud says he's still holding on to that 5th championship. But also, does knowing more stats and statistics, I would say maybe more history, but does knowing stats make you a bigger fan? Like, there's some people who might not just have the
That's just not how the brain
recall,
works. Yeah.
the recall of like certain stats and stuff like that, but yet they were sitting there watching as many hours of those games as you were. And I think that's the beauty of sports is there's people who like sports from this angle, and then there's people who like it from this angle, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes this show amazing to me is we have so many different guys going on. And in fact, I told this to Tyler the other day. He's technically the only guy that comes on a consistent basis that really only follows one sport, but he knows that sport so well that, and he asks good questions too. Like that's one of the things I like about it is having that kind of, I don't really follow baseball like that.
I love
Let
those
me get your
questions.
perspective from this because it's normally coming from an angle. I can't think of things that way. You know what I'm saying? Because of how I'm involved with it or whatever. So I
ever
love
have
that.
Any type of college football question, which is not many times. I know
many
my college
times.
football too, but if I ever have a question, Tyler's always the first person I go to. What's funny is Tyler doesn't follow fantasy football as much as we do, but we still got 2 people in the league that die by Tyler. Whatever he says, that's what I'm doing in my fantasy football. I talk to Tyler and I'm like, dude, Tyler doesn't follow fantasy football like we do anymore. He tells him the same thing I did.
Tyler follows it up to the draft. Like the draft, I would say is
my peak.
Yeah, your peak, and then the fantasy draft, right? And then after that, he makes about 5 picks a week on the Afternoon Underdogs when we're doing our NFL picks. But I would say that he knows enough to be able to get by with it. He knows enough about the collegiate players to be able to, all right, he has an opinion on the stuff. But it is, he's literally the only guy, because you like baseball and stuff, right? Or are you more, yeah. So,
I mean, I'll follow it, but I'm not anyway.
But he's a
near you
Lakers
and
fan.
Matt.
He's he don't watch his basketball.
definitely, yeah, exactly. So all of us kind of have a love of all sports for the most part, but that just shows how good Tyler is at college football.
It's funny though too, because like I know I give FSU a lot of grief more just because we live in the area. But like when the FSU had those sick basketball teams, they were so likable, and I was like, oh man, Leonard Hamilton, that's the guy right there.
COVID year, that was the championship year right there, dude. That was our best chance to ever win a championship.
You guys, Dayton and Kansas.
Oh man, that was a tough year. So
because I actually, fun fact, I was early on the FSU train. This is got a victory lap here for this one. I had you guys in the Elite 8 that year. You guys beat Xavier when they were the 8 or 9 seed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my claim to fame on FSU
that was a
hoops
fun
right
game.
there.
It was Bill Murray was literally in the front, and they just kept zooming in on him. He just kept losing more and more hair every single 2 minutes that they zoomed in on him.
Travis chiming in. He says, FSU sucks. Not the only L they will take. FS who? Go Gators. He also says his whole family is Florida State, and he's a Gator. He also says that his biggest bum out since 2019 with New Orleans and the Rams, and that cheap shot that put the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Man, I thought that was a clean hit.
That was no, the year prior to that was Stephon Diggs. Yeah, the tight end. What was it?
Pete? No. It was the little wide receiver.
It was that pass interference. That he hit the guy like 10 seconds. It felt like before the ball got
it was
there.
the little kick returner that they had.
I don't know the Stephon Diggs. That was the year before, right? With the Vikings.
Yeah, they literally had heartbreaker back to back. It was the Minnesota Miracle. Then the next year was the non-pass interference.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Yes, they should have been pass interference. Yes, they should have kicked the field goal. Guess who got the ball first in overtime? The Saints got the ball first in overtime. And what did Drew Brees do? Well, when it comes down to anything in the playoffs, Drew Brees chokes. And he threw an interception.
Let's go back to some more comments and text here. Tim Adams, Caveman forgot all about Lenny Dykstra from earlier. Hey, I mean, he was naming off a few of them, but I don't think there's any question in Caveman Rick's Philadelphia Philidom, if you will. He also, Tim Adams says, being a fan isn't about being an alum or knowing the most about a team. It's purely about the level of love and passion. There are alums that couldn't care less about their team, and old men who never went to college, they lose sleep over a team's loss. Fan is short for fanatic. It's just about the level of sustained emotion. Very philosophical, my guy Tim. It was great to meet him the day after, he called in to the radio show, and that very same evening, I'm seeing him out there at Frank Nelson at the flag football games, which, by the way, Barrett Townsend, his son Ben,
that's my boy.
Boy. I don't know if I ever posted that video to ESPN Northwest Florida, but how many back jukes did he have on that one particular? It was a reception, right?
The first back, it was about a 20-yard reception. The first back juke,
which
made four
comparable
people,
to NFL is a 50-yard reception, right? Because it's basically a 50-yard field.
throwing the ball to him who's got Bowman. Shout out to Bowman. He had, for 6U, you don't see many teams pass the ball in 6U whatsoever. We passed the ball probably about 85% of the plays, because Bowman could throw the ball really, really well. But no, his first back juke took 4 people out at one time, and then the one person got up and went to go chase him, and then he did the exact same thing and back cut him, and he fell again. So 5 people fell in one play.
Yeah, no, that was killer. And I got to see a few plays from you guys this season, but that particular game, we thought we were playing on that field at the same time. And the next thing you know, Barrett's team comes up and they get to play, which was awesome for me because I got to sit there and watch Ben play the whole entire game, essentially. I think I only missed a few plays. And, man, he's right, though. From what I saw from 6U, it was a lot of running, which isn't bad. We're learning the fundamentals of the game. But when you see a team out there being totally different and tossing the ball over the field, that was a lot of fun.
It was a blast. I appreciate it. And
had the Mike Leach of Bay County Little League flag football.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Literally, the second game, we ran a double reverse, and we literally had the whole defense on one side of the field. And the coach comes up to me. He's like, "Why are you guys running double reverses in 6U? This is 6U." And I'm like, well,
play to win the game.
We've got players that understand the plays. Literally, by halfway through the season, Bowman was calling the plays in the huddle by himself. So I wasn't even calling the plays. I was just sitting on the sideline enjoying it, man.
That is awesome. Russell chiming in. There are a lot of alums that don't even care about football at all, but fans are fans regardless. And I'm originally from Thomasville, Georgia, because FSU wasn't bleep when I was coming up. Go Gators. Russell from Santa Rosa Beach.
Oh, man. We got too many Gator fans in the chat. What's going on?
Hey, chime in right now. 850-215-6290. Let me know what team you're rooting for this year. I love the fact that we've got 2 military bases here, so that gives us a lot of different fan bases, which gives us the ability to, all right, we're going to talk about whatever today because someone is going to enjoy it. Go ahead.
FSU obviously might not be good, but I don't know. Florida fans are getting like 9 days of glory or something here.
That's what I was going to say earlier with Florida and Miami.
3-9 or 4-8 season.
I miraculously, and I don't know how I came to this, but we did our predictions. Me and Tyler, for the second year now, have predicted every Power 4 game. And with that, I actually had Florida going 7-5. Now, there's a couple in there that's, if that happens, I'll be amazed myself. But this week right here, on the heels of the Florida State loss to Georgia Tech, if Florida comes out and beats Miami, regardless of what the reality is behind Billy Napier and the Florida Gators, you're gonna think from the way that the Florida fans sound that they just won the 2024 national championship.
Well, I think part of it for Florida is like they're kind of going into the year with some low expectations, rough schedule, Napier, the whole thing. It's like so then to get to watch your arch rival lose week 0 and not have to worry about taking the loss yourself, you're enjoying that week and you're like, ours is coming soon, so we're just gonna roll with it.
It's probably the only 7 days that they're gonna enjoy all season. So let them enjoy it. I mean, I don't know exactly what time the game is on Saturday.
2:30.
It's one of those games where I was just as an FSU fan, I don't think you can really root for either one of the teams.
But it's got tune-in factor to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 1,000%
Probably
going to watch
for
it.
Miami, right?
I'm not one of those people that says I need to root for Miami because they're in the ACC. So I'm just
if you ever make it to the SEC, you'll find out what that feels like.
Oh man, so I can be like a Tennessee fan and
honestly
just enjoy everyone else's success.
The only time that I ever really dive into that, and I really don't, I don't like just root for teams because I like to. All right. From what I've seen from these teams, which team do I think is better? From the stats that I've read, which team do I think is better? But there is this little something inside of me, I don't know what it is, that secretly wants to just be like SEC.
I think for me, like if we're doing like a bowl pick'em, like if it's Mississippi versus Minnesota, and I don't really care, like I'd rather Mississippi State win than Minnesota, just because it does make the SEC look a little bit better. But am I rooting for Bama over whoever to win the national championship? Like
I'm not rooting for any other team in the SEC. I'm not rooting for any other team in the SEC.
Like if
but I do want them,
like South Carolina, I'm the same way. Like I'm going to root for Miami at that point.
Yeah, right. Well, take it out of even conference and put it into non-conference, or out of bowl games and put it into non-conference games. You know what I mean? Like, during the regular season, I do want that SEC team to win. Why? Because that's the reason why the SEC gets multiple teams in a 4-team or a 12-team. We'll see how it works out. But because they're taking the cake when it comes to non-conference schedule. I'm sorry, Max.
No, you're good. I think, too, if I'm in your position, I would probably be rooting for Miami just because Miami's more than likely going to have a better record. So it just looks better when you beat Miami. I mean,
it's just tough when it's like your two biggest rivals playing each other. Like it's like the conference goes out the way. It's like
when Tyler, who you root for when Florida and Tennessee play?
I mean,
or Auburn and Tennessee.
I probably dislike Florida more than Auburn, or Florida more than Tennessee. But like, it's just, if Florida was playing Tech, I'd be like, can an asteroid hit the stadium? Like,
dude, I think it's Auburn, Ohio State for me. I really do think it's like Auburn, Ohio State, and here's why. It's totally drinking haterade because, for real though, because Ohio State has been winning. Like
Ryan Day's so likable. Come on,
it's not about currently, like right now though. You know what I mean? It's the success that Ohio State has had for a long run now. Like yes, Michigan has been on top of that conference for the last 3 years, and I think that run that run ends this year. But it could be Oregon, it could be Ohio State. It's not guaranteed to be Ohio State.
And the irony is, I can assure you, like every Ohio State fan is rooting against Bama.
For sure. and so after Auburn and Ohio State, it would be either LSU or Tennessee. Like interchange those ones, but in all reality, squash all 4 of those teams together. I don't want to see you have nan success unless we're talking about Auburn Tigers on ESPN Northwest Florida. Just a little bit. Oh man, we're way past time to go for a break here. We're going to let you guys go for a few short minutes. Don't forget that this is the home for the Auburn Tigers, the Mosley Dolphins, and the Atlanta Braves. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your official radio home for Auburn Tiger football. The tailgating, the crowds, the noise. All the excitement of Auburn football is back, and you can hear every game right here.
It's Auburn versus Alabama A&M. Join us for kickoff on the Plains this Saturday. Coverage starts at 5:30, kickoff at 6:30 on your home for the Auburn Tigers on the Gulf Coast, ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Good evening, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 78 and a wind 3 to 7 miles per hour. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and a temperature of 87. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 90 with possible thunderstorms and some sun. Mostly sunny in the morning but otherwise likely thunderstorms Thursday and very warm around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels, including all your local favorites and news networks. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. Just $40 a month. To get KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo. Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials, Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive, across from the Navy base.
Be here for every huge moment of the Atlanta Braves season as we load up for a run at the division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Tonight, be here for Atlanta Braves baseball live from Target Field in Minnesota as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Twins.
Coverage starts at 6, first pitch at 6:40 on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN, Northwest Florida.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back here at the disclosed location of Boston Tim's house for, it's not his birthday party necessarily, but we're partying for his birthday and for the fantasy draft. Both things coincide, but it's great to have a great guy like Boston Tim hosting us. This is the second year in a row that he's had us over. So big shout out to not only Boston Tim, but his wife, essentially, Victoria, does a great job. Man, y'all go see him at Mr. Eddie's, and we'll get you guys. There you go. Where'd you go? What location did you go to? Lisenby location, man. Funny enough,
they're 2 for 2.
Oddly enough, that was where I got my, I'll say my first ever haircut in Panama City was at Mr. Eddie's, back when Mr. Eddie was cutting hair.
Nice.
My grandpa took me back there. Old Papa Jack. Love you, Papa Jack. No, you're probably not listening, but if you just so happen to be, there's you a shout out. All right, it's the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. I almost knocked over some smoke. What's that, chicken? Whoo, doggy, Chef Ross on the grill. My goodness gracious, it smells amazing. Can't wait to dive into that. We're going to be talking about some week 1 here. Don't want to let you guys forget that Auburn right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting at 5:30 on Saturday. Kickoff at 6:30. And we're going to get the game started at 10:30 a.m. Penn State, West Virginia. 10:30 coverage start, 11 a.m. kick. Tyler, let's start there. All right, we're going to be making our picks for 10 games. In fact, it's funny how this worked out. So yesterday, I thought I did 10 games, but I actually only did 9. And I was thinking today before I left to head over this way, I really want to get that North Dakota State and Colorado game on. I really want to get that on the pick'em. So I'm going to let you guys decide. We're going to bump it up to 10.5. Do we pick Colorado with the spread or without the spread? North Dakota State, Colorado, and then we'll dive into Penn State and West Virginia.
I'm taking North Dakota State straight up.
Straight up.
Straight. I don't.
But I'm saying for the pick'em, for the group of guys here. And I did bring 12 sheets, so everyone in the fantasy league, everyone who's not on the show is going to, consistently or whatever, is going to be on the guest pick'em for this week.
Straight. I think it needs to be straight up. Like if you want to say Colorado, even at a 10.5 point favorite, that's fine. But if not, we'll just,
So no points. So we're not giving North Dakota State 10.5.
Nah.
All right.
I like it. We're establishing the rules this year.
Just
like fantasy football when we didn't talk about
the rules were
keepers.
established. No. If 2 out of 12 people don't know that there's keepers, that seems like the 2 people's problem to me.
It sounds like
that was half of the league.
No,
literally said that.
They
were like,
no,
they agreed.
Screenshots or it didn't happen.
This is revisionist history, Goodell.
I'm serious though. No, seriously. Because Big Cloud knew, Caveman Rick knew.
Hold on.
Did you know that this was a keeper league when we started? I would say Boston 10 maybe
didn't know.
Did you know that it was a keeper league when we started? No. He said no.
That's
All right,
right.
so we'll give
Guy
you
of
3.
integrity.
He didn't either.
Yeah, we'll
I
give
didn't
you
know.
3.
It
4.
sounds like, half the league was in a group chat and half wasn't.
Yeah, maybe that was the
It was
case.
your first, literally the first thing. We might make this a keeper league, is what it said.
Well, sometimes might means for sure making this a keeper league. All right. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So you're taking North Dakota State at Colorado.
Straight up.
Taking them straight up on the road. What does this do for the Colorado Buffaloes, who last year had a lot of hype going into the season? Again, there's plenty of hype around them this year, but they started out hot. So the hype is in a daggone microwave at that point, right? Heating up. Then you finish the season at 4-8. If they start 2024 with a loss to North Dakota State, which maybe a lot of casuals will hear North Dakota State and be like, okay, never heard of them before.
Right.
And yes, they're an FCS team. However, we're talking about a team who's won 4 of the last 6 titles.
a powerhouse of that division.
7 of the last 10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anytime there's a Division II championship.
I mean, Trey Lance, ladies and gentlemen.
Carson
North
Wentz.
Dakota, yeah, let's go with a realistic. I was kind of being facetious there, but Trey Lance. See, I would say this though too. With Trey, no, Joe Flacco. Delaware. With Trey Lance though, I think his issue was not, and again, you can't really blame him because it was a COVID year, but not playing that last year of college football and then going up to the league. I think that was maybe problematic. Now, who knows? We'll see how it all ends up playing out for him. 4 interceptions in his last preseason game. Up there with old Stetson Bennett. Not in his last game, but maybe first game, I think.
QB2 for the first 2 weeks, baby.
QB2, baby. QB2. All right, let's get into our thoughts on Penn State and West Virginia. We'll make our picks here in a few short moments, and hopefully we can get everyone on a mic. If not, it'll be okay. Y'all yell it out, and we'll get it on.
Tough day for Penn State fans.
For a Saturday?
Sean Clifford got released today.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that they even knew he was on the Packers. Hey, but it's bad news.
Big fan base.
As a Titan, I know, I'm joking.
Out,
as a Titans fan, though, if you're getting dropped in favor of Malik Willis, you wasn't that good.
Well, I think Sean Clifford sucks, so I agree. But, I mean, Malik Willis does kind of mimic some of the traits of their starter, so makes sense.
That is very fair. That is very fair. All right, Penn State, West Virginia. This is a huge game for Penn State, right?
Huge.
But would you say it's bigger to some? Who is this game bigger for? Let's start with that question.
It's gotta be
this
Penn
show
State.
sheet was very detailed today, and that was my best question.
It's got to be Penn State because if you're James Franklin, people are like, okay, this is Penn State's time to make the playoff, and they've been in a division with Michigan and Ohio State, so it's no wonder why they haven't won the Big Ten. Blah blah blah. If you go on the road and lose to West Virginia, I'm not saying West Virginia's a bad team. Neil Brown's been a pretty good coach. He was good at Troy. He's been kind of hit or miss at West Virginia. They keep waiting for him to take that next step. But you got Drew Aller, who was supposed to be this great quarterback last year. He was pretty average, in my opinion. And if you're James Franklin, your one redeeming quality so far at Penn State is you have won the games you're supposed to win. Sure, you've lost to Ohio State.
I think
Michigan.
the Dogs are still upset that I talked bad about Stetson Bennett.
I know, right? At least he's winning the games he's supposed to win. So if you start losing games like this that you are supposed to win, at what point, why is James Franklin still the coach at Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, they murdered him last year. I kind of think it'll be similar.
You think Penn State's taking control of this game?
Yeah.
Even in Morgantown?
Even in Morgantown.
Okay.
It's 11 a.m. kick, which helps it being in Morgantown. Well, 12 a.m. kick, or 12 p.m. kick, I guess. But
yeah, that's a good take there. For me, it's going to be interesting because West Virginia is one of those teams that in the Big 12, you're not really thinking of them right now, but come mid-season, does their name keep popping up? I think that they could be one of the hindrances to UCF possibly pulling one of those same sort of upsets to win the Big 12. I wouldn't say it's an upset, but they are somewhat of a long shot to win the Big 12. And for Penn State, you got to win this game. Yeah. I'm not saying, again, it goes back to every single loss. You win your conference in the Power 4 conferences, you're going to be in the college football playoff, right? There's no doubt about that. But you need to win these games for that
large side of it.
I mean, and recruits is a big
West
deal
Virginia
here too.
Is quarterback now? You know,
bro. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know a lot about West Virginia right now. I really don't.
Yeah.
They just have that. You know, when teams have those brands.
Yes.
Those and that's what they kind of stick to. I mean, I think Pitt has a brand that's kind of fun every now and again. You know what I mean? But I don't know if they. Every now and again, it's fun,
Where is he now again?
He's Philly,
Eagle.
Philadelphia
Yep,
Eagles.
we got him back up, yeah.
A solid backup.
But for West Virginia, it's again one of those teams that right now they just don't have the hype steamed up around them. But come week 7 or 8, who knows? Give me another game on the docket you want to talk about, Tyler.
Man, we kind of talked about it with Barrett a few minutes ago. That Florida-Miami game,
yeah.
It's a game like I keep mentally going back and forth between because I don't know who I want to win that game. I don't know who I want Miami to win. I don't know who I feel
Dog
very-
coat Nick Clark into the building. My bad, Tyler,
No,
for the
you're good.
interruption. What up?
Not yet.
Not yet. The champ. Oh, man. I hope we get to have the transferring of the championship belt from Barrett Townsend, our champion last year, to Danny Griffin, our champion Barrett 2 years ago, Danny G last year.
He asked for chopsticks and
tongs
and Lysol.
No, he didn't ask for it. He's bringing it.
He's bringing
it because Barrett has been.
And he said he's
We're
going
not
to
even
get
gonna
red
say it on
carpet
air.
to walk over you.
Oh
He
my
told me he was going to wear all black for your funeral.
Listen, if we're going to talk
FSU
about
on
this,
FSU crime.
let's really talk about what happened and why I lost in the championship. Do you guys know?
radio?
Hold on. Do you guys know when we do this championship?
Week 18, like
Week
it
18.
should be.
You
Like
wanna
it
know who
should
my
be.
starters were? Gardner Minshew, Boston Scott.
And-
Two of my main players, Jalen Hurts, bench, didn't play, of course, last week of the season. You know who all got to play?
Who's that?
All of Danny's players got to play. CeeDee Lamb got to play. Jonathan Taylor was
All right,
playing.
let's hold it open for debate because we know what our league has voted on. It was a very, I think it was a close vote, right?
You tied 5-5.
Tyler, week 18 and week 17 for fantasy football.
I think that's a terrible idea.
Which one? Week 17
I think
championship
including
or week 18?
Including week 18 is a terrible idea.
Terrible idea?
Because like it's
All right.
because then you get punished for picking
We're
players
done.
on good teams.
We're done. No, I'm just kidding. Keep going. Keep going.
I mean, yeah.
If you don't agree with David on this ball, you're done. Don't cut that out.
Well, no,
of
because
the audio.
honestly, like I said, when
should end
we
like week
put
16.
when end week 16,
I'm okay with week 17, but week 18 is just.
and here's what I said though with it because
Just
I
in the middle.
understand.
I like your thinking.
I understand both sides of the fence here, right?
Yeah.
Because with week 17, you're going to have the guys that you rode with all year long, and that makes sense. However, we're not on the gridiron. This is fantasy football. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of do your best to make the fantasy happen. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I stand on it. But like I said, I did not vote until it was either I'm the deciding vote or all right, one side won, and one side won week 18.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when Bama's in the playoff next, they should just roll out their backups and third strings and just see what happens.
There you go.
It's just football.
Well, I really think it happens.
But like I said though, there's a difference in my opinion where it's like, all right, this is real football. Like Florida State got left out of the playoffs for not having their starting quarterback. You know what I mean? And it's just like to a large extent, in my opinion, I know that it's so tough with Texas beating Alabama, Alabama beating Georgia. Now you're just in this tough position. But Florida State should have been in the playoff because they were a 13-0 team. You know what I mean? Undefeated. Alabama's lone loss to Texas. Georgia's lone loss to Alabama. So here we are in 2024. Hopefully, which there's going to be a lot of arguments, but I don't think we're ever going to have this particular argument anymore. We just automatically leave an undefeated ACC champion out.
Like how us losing to Georgia Tech has everything to do with the reason of why we didn't get into the playoffs last year. That's the most awesome argument I'm seeing right now from everyone. Well, the committee got it right. They just lost to Georgia Tech. That's the exact same team that we had last year.
Max came on the air earlier with that exact take.
he
was
defended
like,
FSU?
Yeah, he did.
No. He was saying that exact thing. He was saying,
man.
Georgia Tech beating Florida State. Keep him out of the playoffs. In fact, ban him for 10 years, no matter what happens.
I said what you said. I said that just stinks because it's such a hollow
Why is it when football season comes, we get along so well and we agree with a lot of stuff? Everything else throughout the rest of the season, it's...
Do you want the truth, Barrett Schefter?
I want the truth. There's nothing but the truth.
Because you were more rational during the football season, and then outside of it... No, well, I wouldn't say that you're irrational. I just think that he matches your energy.
Do we?
Yeah, I think that's what ends up happening. Yeah.
I'm still trying to
my playbook.
I'm still trying to play him in volleyball, and he hasn't gotten a partner yet. I've gotten a partner. He still hasn't gotten a partner
What
yet.
up, AG in the building, y'all? Man, What about Tyler? You good at volleyball? I was gonna say me, but I'm not.
It's
You gotta have somebody.
Get Tyler out.
I played volleyball before. I wouldn't say good.
Yeah. Oh, Boston Tim, I bet is pretty dang good at volleyball.
Oh man.
Dalton, Dalton Cope in the house again. I think I already mentioned that.
You get Danny, right?
We got the crew.
Danny come out there?
Oh, Danny G will do anything. Will he be good at it? We'll find out.
At that point in time.
We'll find out. Another game that interests you, though. What piques your interest? Tyler Bishop on this Tangent Tuesday. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. We got a crew full of Afternoon Underdogs and Boomer Bust Fantasy Football
BYOB.
Draft happening live. Well, not live at all, actually. It'll be live for us, not for you, here at Boston Tim's house. All right, next game. What you got?
I think it's the local game, Florida Miami. I don't know. I don't trust either coach to win this game. I don't trust either quarterback to win this game. Like I don't know how I feel. I don't know what to think.
What you got, Max?
Sorry to curb it. Danny said when Barrett was on air about the fantasy football championship, he said, "Tell Barrett to shut up, B-word." I scored like 200 points on him. I would have beat him in week 16, 17, and 18.
Oh, and we can, someone run back into the league. Dalton, someone run back into the league and see what their scores were. 16, 17, and 18.
He'll be here in 25 minutes.
So wait, real quick. Are we saying that Barrett lost because his players opted out of the championship game? Is that what happened?
No, it started before that. Man. In fact, I'm thinking here
the seasons.
was the reality that your fantasy football team just followed Florida State from the Orange Bowl. Was that the case? Ryan Warren says the whole Afternoon Underdogs crew in the house. What you got, Barrett?
But I am, the only person in this league that's been in the championship twice.
Oh, fair enough. We're going to see what happens here in 2024. Excited for it, man. I got a great group of fellas here. What you got, Max?
To Tyler's point, though, I'm kind of with you. I think I can see LSU running USC. It's not the same USC team of.
Did we bring that game up?
I did not bring that game
I thought you were talking about that.
No, it's
the local game.
The Miami-Florida game.
You're over there eating crawfish, boy. What's going on?
Just kidding.
No, but I mean, the LSU-USC game, that could be like a 65-63 game if those defenses haven't improved dramatically.
Wait, hold on. We're on Florida-Miami, right?
Florida-Miami.
That's what you just said, 65 to what?
No, I was talking about the LSU-USC.
Okay, all right. Let's stick here with Miami, Florida. All right.
Miami, Florida.
And then we'll go to USC and LSU.
I don't trust either of these teams, either of these coaches. I don't want to pull for Florida. It's in the swamp.
Yeah.
2:30, though, kind of negates a little bit of the home field advantage. Like, there's a difference between a night game in the swamp and an afternoon game. Napier is so hard to believe in. Cristobal's so hard to believe in. And I'm going to kind of laugh at whatever team loses because that coach probably isn't surviving the year. So.
Oh, someone said Max is, I'm not going to use the word that he used, but here's something that helps with cleanliness and hygiene.
Toothbrush.
Nice, you said that.
There you go. I don't know. They don't got it saved. I don't have their number saved into the text system right now, but and I'm not going to share your number either with them because here we go. But if you do want to put an address on it, you can text us at 850-215-6290. Florida and Miami for me, man.
Let's go.
This game has been kind of a tough game for me to wrap my head around. Graham Mertz was the highlight of the Florida Gators last year. He tossed like 3 interceptions or so. Very good touchdown to interception ratio. However, Cam Ward coming over there at Miami. Does Mario Cristobal finally have the quarterback that he needs over there in Miami to succeed? Will they even call the right plays when it's the fourth quarter and you have the game in your hand? I think that's the more
They hired a time management coach.
Oh, did they?
I think what they're going to do.
I feel like that's bad if you're a head coach and you got to have a time management coach because it's different if you take a job and you get a time management coach as soon as you get the job. You know what I mean? It's like, this is how I do things. I like it this way. It makes me more comfortable. Cool. But when you're coming off the heels of a loss to Georgia Tech in the fashion that you lost that game, that is, as Chuck Barkley would say, terrible.
But it doesn't admit that you can recognize your own weakness, though. So maybe there is
That's
some
what I'm saying.
there,
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Maturation, if you will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There
First
you go.
play of the game, Miami should just kneel the ball just to prove to everyone that they can kneel the ball.
Hey, it's in the playbook, guys. We got it.
Yeah. Look at that.
Just start the season out like that, like you're honoring somebody, like the death of our last
season.
Yeah,
Georgia
exactly. It's the death of our bad time management. 850-215-6290. You know what? We're right up against the break. So when we get back, I'm going to hand out a pick'em sheet to everyone, and we're just going to go around the room making picks here on the Afternoon Underdogs for our next segment for college football week 1. Time has been flying, and that means we are finally close to the opening round of this Boomer Bust Fantasy Draft. We'll be right back here in a second. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
Mosley kicked off the season with a big win over Rutherford.
And I see 2 arms going vertical from the referee. Touchdown for your Mosley Dolphins.
Next, the Mosley Dolphins look to take down the Bay Tornadoes. We'll have all the live play-by-play from Tommy Oliver Stadium. Coverage starts Friday at 6, kickoff at 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Couldn't ask for a better throw from your quarterback.
Good evening, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 78 and a wind 3 to 7 miles per hour. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and a temperature of 87. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 90 with possible thunderstorms and some sun. Mostly sunny in the morning, but otherwise likely thunderstorms Thursday and very warm around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Dat Cajun Place is your LSU and Saints football headquarters. Saints and LSU fans, wear your team colors and score a free Jell-O shot when your team scores a touchdown. Only at Dat Cajun Place. Get $5 pitchers on select draft beers during all live football games. Catch all the games at once with the NFL package on 27 large TVs at Dat Cajun Place. And the best wings on the beach. The locals' favorite, Dat Cajun Place.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
He has one man to beat. He beat him. Jarquez Hunter. Touchdown Auburn.
Kickoff on the Plains is coming.
15-10. Ford to the end zone. Touchdown Peyton Ford.
Auburn football returns August 31st.
The kick is on the way. The season is underway.
Only on your home for the Tigers.
Auburn fans, we're bringing you every single game this season on the exclusive home for the Auburn Tigers on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
You think you've been on your grind? The 11-year-old cashier at the Gin Gin puts in more hours than you.
Do any of you people do any actual work?
Just saying.
We might need to work on your sales pitch.
Less work and more play.
All right, show's over. Everybody back to work.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to the undisclosed, now disclosed location of Boston Tim's house. Chef Ross whipping it up for us today. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in beautiful Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop, Barrett Townsend, Max DeLyden, Caveman Rick, Nick Clark, Dalton Cope, Big Cloud, Boston Tim, AG, or as some of you know him on Wednesdays as Fano, and Chef Ross, sporting a great sponsor of ESPN Northwest Florida, Golf Plus. Hey, guys, if you want to get better at the game of golf, I got 2 things for you to do. Go to Golf Plus, get your clubs fitted for you, man. You will become better instantly if you're good at the game of golf. If you're not, go to golfwithj.com, baby, and you can listen to ESPN Northwest Florida from 11 to 1 on Tuesdays, and you can get just the tip, or you can go to golfwithj.com and get the whole thing. That's the new slogan there for Jay Henley. Again, it's the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay Henley, was that your first time getting to meet him at the draft?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to him all the time.
Yeah.
Man,
that guy is something else, man. He is
I love this.
He's a national treasure. There's no doubt about that. All right, so what we're going to do right here is we're going to make our picks. The guys right now are kind of filling theirs out. If they don't give me the paper, they're going to yell them out to me, and we're just going to have some good old time here, a good time to end the show. And I did get word that Danny Griffin's ETA is 5:40. So with that being said, we're going to get into the alum. Did anyone else in here? Well, you went to Louisville. AG did, right?
Did you pick your team?
You went to Louisville, right? Okay, never mind. That doesn't count. Did anyone else here go to the school that they root for? All right, so we got to wait till, oh, yeah, that's true. School of Hard Knocks, that's a great one, boy. Hey, did you ever go to the school for kicking babies? You just picked that up somewhere else.
Hey, I'm a natural.
Natural. K-Man Rick's the natural.
Indiana, though, you can go to 17 different
If you're Indiana, you can go to 17 different campuses and still claim IU.
That's a
Per
fun fact.
AG, is that a fact, Max?
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I went to IU
he
Bloomington.
graduated from FSU.
The mothership.
You went to the mothership? My buddy Heath Tittman did as well. All right, let's go to week 1 here of college football. We've already had a little discussion, but now we'll have enough time to make our picks. Hopefully, it won't take the rest of the show, but we'll find out. All right, let's start out here with, we've got Dalton, we've got Chef Ross, we've got Big Cloud. We're going to start with our first game on the list. That is going to be this Thursday's game between North Dakota State and Colorado. Guys, we're not on camera. Y'all can walk right up to me. It's all good, baby.
Yeah, like trying to cover the face.
Yeah, like, and all you got to do, rip the headset off. Actually, ask real quick. Tap me on the shoulder. I'll give you my headset. I just got to mute it real quick because the headsets make a little bit more noise. But if you want to remove Barrett or Max, be my guest. We already had one guy who said he wouldn't mind Max, he not in so many words, but wouldn't mind Max being removed from the show.
Fair enough. I've been tamed today.
Hey, you picked up on what you were called.
Yeah.
I realized, now realizing that, so I did pretty good with the, that was a great description without actually saying the word.
He should tune in more Tuesdays. I'll get him going.
Hey, there we go. Max to learn he needs his audience. Max needs to learn his audience if he is going to advertise with y'all. Well, fun fact here. Max, you got to start advertising with us, bud. All right, let's get into week 1. I'm, again, someone who I don't necessarily know the number of, but it's also one of those things. Hey, listen, he got you to text. You've never texted this station before, but because Max was doing what he was doing in this world of negativity, we appreciate you listening very much so. I have no, it's a different guy.
Phones, like, that was like my burner phone right there.
No. And all I'm saying is I appreciate the listeners so much because without you guys, there is no Max saying outlandish stuff, and that's something that we've kind of came to know, right? Or come to know, rather. Wild card delight, and that's why we call them that.
Look, anyone who's offended, your football team's probably better than mine. I can own that, and I can look in the mirror. If you're offended about comments about Florida State, Florida, Miami, it is what it is. It's sports. If you can't handle defeat, don't follow it.
One of my favorite things
don't be a Bears fan.
I will also say this, right? I'm not a big trash talker myself, but I think that's one of the.
You were trash talking me this week, and without saying it,
that's passive aggressiveness, right? That's not talking trash. No, but I with my buddies and stuff, right? With my buddies, I'll talk trash, yeah, for sure. But when it comes to like just sports in general, if I walk down the road and I see an Auburn guy, I'm not just gonna be like, man, y'all suck, I might be like, roll tide or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not a huge trash talker, but that is one of my favorite elements of college football, the NFL, Major League, no matter what it is. Me and Caveman Rick go back and forth on the Phillies and the Braves all the time. AG, one day his Reds are gonna get right into the mix of those things, you know what I mean? But all right, let's get into the actual picks. We do appreciate the texting and the listening. Thank you guys so much. It means the world to us here at ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, the Atlanta Braves coverage starts at 6. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Schwellenbach going for the Bravos tonight. Hopefully, we can go back-to-back tonight and keep that, maybe not a win streak, but 7-3 in the last 10 is impressive. And Matt Olson last night, 5 ribbies to go along with the 10-6 win over the Twins. All right.
We scored 9 in the first inning.
Yeah.
We didn't do nothing after that.
Yeah, that is true. But sometimes those breaks have a funny way of messing with your offense. All right, let's get into it. North Dakota State at Colorado. Colorado is a 10-point favorite. The over-under set at 60.5. This game will be at 7 p.m. on Thursday evening. Let's start with you, Tyler, and we'll work our way around the room. And when it gets back to me, for the guys who aren't talking on the microphone, I'll go through the slew of their picks. Tyler Bishop, North Dakota State, Colorado.
I think I already kind of ruined it earlier. I'm taking the Bison straight up. I don't believe in Dion. I don't believe in the culture he's got there. Ooh. I think they're going to come out, play some sound mistake-free football. Colorado's not, and they're going to end up losing to North Dakota State in front of the entire country on Thursday night.
There we go. All right, Barrett.
Tyler knows football, right?
He does.
He knows college football, right?
He claims to.
I'm going with Tyler, man. If Tyler says it, Tyler owns it. I'm going to go with Tyler.
Hey, Tangent Tuesdays with Tyler here on the Afternoon Underdogs.
Township Tuesday.
Township Tuesday. That was a good one as well. Caveman Rick, what you got over there? Bring me your paper over here or hop onto a mic or something like that so that we can make it move seamlessly, because Boston Tim decided he didn't want to pick along with us this afternoon, and he kind of broke a little 10th percent of my heart. Caveman Rick's going with North Dakota State. All right, we'll move along here. Big Cloud's got the Buffaloes of Colorado. Chef Ross has got... Hey, guys, you got mics right in front of you. Colorado is taking down North Dakota State for Chef Ross. And North Dakota State, Dalton's got North Dakota State. Whose is this one right here? Nick. We've got Nick taking North Dakota State as well. Listen, guys, I was on the hype train last year for the Colorado Buffaloes. I had them going, I believe it was 7-5, might have been as high as 8-4. However, they went 4-8. They got to get better than that this year, and you can't start out on the hopes and dreams of North Dakota State crushing the Colorado Buffaloes. So for me, you may not like them. I kind of like them. I kind of love them a little bit. Coach Primetime, baby. I'm going with the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm not saying they're going to have a great season. I'm saying they're going to start off the season with a W. Do they cover the 10, though? I don't know. That'll be tough. That's another reason why I'm glad Tyler said, no, let's just pick this one straight up. As a guy who wanted North Dakota State, I figured he was going to go that way. Fano's going to be making his picks tomorrow on the Afternoon Underdogs. And the only guy I think we're missing is Danny G. And, of course,
Maxon,
the best guy. Oh, Max. That's who you're pointing at. Yeah. All right. No, that guy don't get to talk. No. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I like North Dakota State with the spread. I hope Tyler's right. He knows way more about college football than me, so I'm picking Colorado as an emotional hedge, but I mean, I would love to, see the glazing of Dion maybe settle out.
When last week on the show, Tyler, did you pick FSU money line straight up?
I picked Florida State to win.
But you had Georgia Tech with the 10.5.
I think. Well, I had it right at 11. Okay. So I think if we did 10.5, I probably went the over.
Yeah.
I thought Florida State's depth would eventually take over, and it did not.
There you go. All right, let's move on to a big game here. This for the ACC and the SEC, essentially. 14 Clemson taking on the number one team in the land, the Bulldogs of Georgia. They are a 13.5-point favorite. I don't know if this line has moved or not. I got these spreads yesterday afternoon. The over-under, the total sitting at 49.5 for an 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. All right, let's start. We're just going to do it the same way every time. Tyler Bishop, take off.
I would have probably taken this spread up to like 17. Ish.
Woo!
Easy. I mean, we're not doing the spread on the game, so it doesn't matter. But I think this is probably when you should have done the spread on. I think it would have made it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I think the Dogs by 3 scores is a safe bet.
What I'm gonna start doing, Tyler, is I'm gonna pick the games, right? And I'm like, all right, which ones should we take the spread on, my friend? Which ones?
Make me an offer.
Yeah. What do you got, Barrett?
Just to rub it in his face, I'm going to go Clemson.
Hey! Oh, just my goodness. Hey, if Florida State would have won on Saturday, he would be like, we're going Bulldogs. But
well, let me tell you, Tyler's the type of friend, he knows what type of FSU fan I am.
Yeah.
And how some of the people are in the chat. You don't talk trash after the game loses. He might send something in a couple of days.
I knew how they felt. I knew how they felt. I wasn't going to rub it in.
There you go. 850-215-6290. We are taking your text this afternoon. Caveman Red, what you got?
I got Georgia. I got the losers coming to Georgia.
All right, there we go. Big Cloud rolling with the Bulldogs. Chef Ross, the Bulldogs. Dalton, the Bulldogs. And Nick, the Bulldogs. All right, let's keep it rolling here on to Game 3. This game will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starts at 10:30 for an 11 a.m. kick. The 8 team in the land, Penn State and the Nittany Lions, travel to Morgantown to take on the Mountaineers of West Virginia. West Virginia, an 8.5-point dog. However, this game started out with Penn State being a 10.5-point favorite. So what say you, Tyler Bishop? Lead us off.
I'll take Penn State. Like I said, they got to win this game. This is the type of game, if James Franklin isn't winning, then he shouldn't be their head coach.
You agree with him. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I can see it being like a 24-17 type game. Penn State kind of pulls out at the end. but I'm going to go ahead and go Penn State.
Real quick here, Max, my bad for leaving you out again. It's because of the way that it's going all the way around, so I'm going to start with the table and then work my way around.
Giving people what they want today.
I am a man of the people.
Yeah.
I am a man of the people. All right, what do you got?
I'll go 30-13 Georgia.
Throwing a score with it. All right, what do you got on Penn State, West Virginia?
Penn State by 20.
Penn State by 20.
I like that.
My goodness gracious. All right, let's look here at Big Cloud. He's got the Nittany Lions and Chef Ross with Penn State as well. Dalton's got Penn State, and that'll sweep it out for our panel today. The guest panel as Nick takes Penn State as well. If we had the spread on this, I'm taking West Virginia all day long. I think Penn State ekes out a dub here, but it will be close, and I would love to see Penn State take control of this game. All right, on to the next game, and this one's a big one right here for our listeners. We won't be able to have this game on ESPN Northwest Florida, but the 19th team in the land, the Hurricanes of Miami, taking on the Gators of Florida in the Swamp. Florida just a 2.5-point dog here. Over under set at 54.5 for a 2:30 kickoff. Tyler, what do you got?
This is one I've picked differently on like 3 different pick'ems. I don't know neither, but I took Florida.
You got Florida.
I think I actually picked them to lose when we did our preseason predictions a month ago, but today I'm feeling it. I don't know. It's just we'll take Florida, and I hate it.
All right. Oh, let me read the comments here after Max goes. Barrett, what you got?
I'll keep it easy because I don't even want to talk about either of the team. I'll go Miami.
All right, there we go. Max.
Florida.
Florida. All right. Real quick here, we've got Kyle Albritton taking North Dakota State. Georgia winning by 14 minimum. Ryan Warren says Penn State within the spread. Kyle Albritton, of course, said Miami all day long. I'm just kidding. He's got the Florida Gators. And Ryan Warren says Gators win with the home field advantage at the Swamp. They won't cover, though. If they win, they cover because
they're the underdog.
Yeah,
the underdog.
Florida's a 2.5-point dog. So let's go to Big Cloud. He's got the Hurricanes of Miami. Chef Ross, Miami. Dalton's got Miami, and Nick has Miami as well. I'm actually going to take the Florida Gators here. I picked it whenever we did our full Power 4 prediction, so I'm going to stick with the Gators here. I do think that Miami is the more talented team, but we just saw that in Ireland where you can make the argument Florida State was the more talented team. Who wants it more? I think that the Florida Gators do. All right, on to the next game. We've got Kennesaw State. I put this on just because it's their first FBS game, so why not? Kennesaw State traveling to the University of Texas, San Antonio, UTSA, UTSA, the Meep Road Runners. UTSA is a minus 24.5-point favorite in this game. Total sitting at 49.5, and the game starts at 2:30. Tyler Bishop, what you thinking here?
Man, I got a soft spot in Kennesaw State since I started as their OC and college football 25. But first game up at FBS, I think they're going to be in for a little bit of shock. It's just a little bit different, and I think UTSA ends up making a little embarrassed.
I'm kind of with Tyler. I actually played with Kennesaw State. And
on the video game, yes.
Employee, so
let's let this influence us.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, you can find players that you're like, oh, I didn't hear about him, but I really enjoy playing with him on the game. Nick Harbor, I think, turned the Twitter world on fire this year just from college football 25. So sure. I was being a little facetious there. Max, we won't skip you again. What you got here?
I'll go with UTSA. I think the same thing Tyler said. It's a different level of playing that field, and UTSA is not a cupcake, so.
Okay, all right, so listen up here. We've got a couple of different, actually just one difference. Big Cloud got UTSA. We've got Chef Ross taking Kennesaw State here with the points. He gets the 24.5, so it's not straight up there. We've got Dalton taking UTSA as well to cover 24.5. Nick Clark taking UTSA as well, 24.5, and I as well. I'm going to take UTSA to cover 24.5 points. There's something within me that says, don't do that. Look at what happened in week 0. Everyone with the points ended up making money, and I've got some betting stories to tell about that, but I don't got time for it today. All right, we got time for one more pick here. Let's go to the Miles special, if you will. Got to get one of these games on, right? Nevada at Troy. Nevada held in with SMU just last week. Troy, new coaching staff in place. Troy's an 8-point favorite at the house, and the over-under sitting at 44.5 for a 6 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Tyler, what you thinking?
I kind of wonder where Nevada's head's going to be at. You had a big opening game. This is your chance to kind of make noise, and you blew it at the end. mentally, are they there going to Troy? I'm taking Troy.
Troy.
Yeah, Troy as well.
Yeah, those are one of those games that, all right, we're just gonna go
Troy's
with
gritty.
it. I do feel that. We've got Big Cloud taking Nevada. We've got Chef Ross taking Troy to cover the 8 points. Dalton taking Nevada with 8 points, and Nick taking the Wolfpack as well. I'm also going to ride with Nevada here. I think that they showed something to a team that I think is going to be very talented in the ACC this year in SMU, and SMU sneaked away with a win. I would have loved to see just 2 points. I don't care which team it came from, but 2 more points would have been beautiful because I had SMU money line, Nevada with 27.5, and then them to get over 55.5, and they were just short of that. But it was a great game and a great sweat at that. So shout out to old Hard Rock there. I'm taking Nevada. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we will get back with our final segment of the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, we're your home for the Auburn Tigers, the Mosley Dolphins, and the Atlanta Braves. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for college football and the Auburn Tigers.
He dives! He's in! Touchdown Auburn!
We heard you, Tiger fans. So this season, we're airing every single game. And you can take that to the bank.
It's picked off in the end zone!
Plus, the biggest games in the SEC and around the country play here on your official station for college football, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels, including all your local favorites and news networks. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. Just $40 a month. To get KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
Taco Bell is now on DoorDash in Port St. Joe. That's right. You can enjoy our craveable tacos, burritos, and more delivered right to your door. Plus, our Tyndall Parkway location is open late, 2 a.m., 7 days a week. Craving a late night snack? We've got you covered. Start your day off right with our delicious breakfast menu available until 10 a.m. Famous Crunch Wraps, Cinnabon Delights, and iced Cinnabon coffee. Taco Bell, where the craveable comes true. Visit us at our beach locations or Tyndall Parkway in Port St. Joe. Order on DoorDash today.
They said it couldn't be done. The Afternoon Underdogs are live.
They say it can't be done.
Are we going to do what they say can't be done?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I guess we got some bumper music now here. Danny G in the Boston Timbs. He is the 2023 Boom or Bust 850 Fantasy Football Champion. And we might just have the belt transfer right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, my man. Hey, we can redo your entrance later. Hey. Oh my goodness. I'll just turn the other mics off here for a few minutes and kill a little bit of time, but I ain't mad about an epic entrance. You can't be mad about the most epic entrance of all time. Danny G.
That's my CPA right there.
Danny G coming in with the Miami Dolphins jersey and the hat on, getting ready for our 2024 fantasy.
If you could imagine what it's like to be Barrett's ego walking into a room, I imagine that sounds.
If you couldn't hear that clearly,
what an entrance!
If you could imagine Barrett's ego, Danny G. I think social media wise, you've got an ego. Not in a bad way. It's a good thing. There's plenty of people out there who do. This is a good thing, though. Ego? I mean,
you're asking the guy who got called a hygienic tool today.
Well, I mean, like, we're not gonna sit here and take a poll. It's not a bad thing, Bear. It's just like sometimes, bro, you be winning a lot. Why wouldn't you have somewhat of an ego?
I do win a lot, though,
exactly.
don't I? I would pick 'em,
so as Max
fancy.
would say, it's facts, not shade.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So being a champion, it means I just have a big ego? Should I just be quiet?
No. First off, we're talking about your persona over a message board compared to your persona in real life, brother. Now listen, we ain't got time for therapy today, okay? Listen, all right,
I thought you were going to be coming on air. Instead, we're getting therapy.
All right, let's dive into it. Let's. I do want to hear from from Chef Ross on Connor Stein. You know that's all in fun and games, Barrett.
Yeah.
All right, number 7. Notrotomy, Notre Dame taking on the 20th team in the nation, the Aggies of Texas A&M. Texas A&M at the 12th man here is a 3-point favorite, total sitting at 46.5. Tyler, take off.
I don't love this one. I've been taking Notre Dame all off season, so I have no reason to not pick them here. But Texas A&M still got a lot of talent. New coaching staff. Let's see how it goes week 1 for them.
All right, let's go, Bear. Of course.
This is actually my favorite game of the weekend, dude. You get Wyatt Leonard going against his former head coach. I think that's a really, really good point spread. I actually think Texas A&M is going to win. I'm never a believer in Notre Dame. They're overhyped, just like FSU was this season. So, yeah, I'm going to go Texas A&M.
My man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that came from a Florida State fan, so don't be sitting here thinking Max said that or anything, throwing more shit. Hey, but the season
I sound
did just
just
start.
like Max, don't I?
The season did just start, though. The season did just start. Do you have faith in your team to get back to the playoffs, Barrett? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Max, what do you got here on this game?
Well, I'm wondering if Danny texted that in, but
I don't think so.
I think so.
I'm going to go Notre Dame outright. Growing up around Notre Dame fans makes it really tough to root for Notre Dame, but Freeman's pretty likable. I think they're going to make a turn here. They shouldn't have blown it against Ohio State last year with 10 guys on the field. Inside job. But I think they'll win outright. A&M doesn't excite me. They just have a lot of NIL money, and Riley Leonard's going to be slanging.
There we go. Appreciate you, Lynn Haven Rob. He said that he just lost us for a second, but we're back up, so everything is good. Trying to monitor it over this way, but I appreciate any listeners who are helping us out over this way. All right, Big Cloud, he is going with Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. We've got Chef Ross taking the Aggies of A&M. Dalton is taking Notre Dame, and Nick is taking Notre Dame. Are you guys taking the same exact picks over here? It does look like it. All right, Caveman Rick. I think I've missed a couple of Caveman Ricks because I keep putting my paper on top of. But Caveman Rick's got Notre Dame in that game. I'm taking the Aggies here. We're not picking against the spread. I do think they covered the 3. I like Mac Elko up against his former quarterback and Riley Leonard. All right, we're moving on to the next one here. We've got Wyoming and Arizona State. The barrel's a little slim right now here in week 1, but
I was going to say this game stinks.
Wyoming, Arizona State, no spread. But the reason why is Wyoming's just a 6.5-point dog. So.
Yeah.
This is one I don't love. I'm probably taking Arizona. I'm taking Arizona State with the head coach going into his second year. Dillingham, right? Dillingham is
Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah. So I'm taking them. Wyoming though, they're one of those teams that you don't hear, but those week 1 or week 2 games, they play a game like this and they end up winning. And if they end up pulling off the upset, I won't be super surprised.
And who came from Wyoming?
Josh Allen.
There you go. Barrett, what do you think about this game?
Josh Allen's coming back to play for Wyoming, so I'm going with them. Wyoming.
There we go. You got Wyoming?
I got Wyoming.
There we go. Max.
I was kind of torn on this because both these teams aren't great. I think ASU won 3 last year with a new coach, but I'll take ASU. Just got to go with the bigger school there.
I do believe they were 3-9 because the year prior to that, Herm Edwards was 3-9 in his final year.
Really?
And everyone was, all right, Kenny Dillingham's got to do better than that in his first year and repeat Repeat at 3-9. Arizona State for Big Cloud. We've got Chef Ross taking the Sun Devils as well. Dalton's taking Arizona State. Nick's taking Arizona State. I'm going to give my pick to the committee, and by what I've heard from the committee, we're going Arizona State on this one, so I'll take the Sun Devils as well. We're not looking to cover a spread here. All right, we've got our Sunday game. I wish we were having this one on ESPN Northwest Florida. We fully have the capabilities, but we have obligations to air the Atlanta Braves, and they have the Philadelphia Phillies. Not only that, because of Friday and the Mosley Dolphins, we've got Mosley on. Because of Saturday and the Auburn Tigers, we've got Auburn on. And then on Sunday, we've got the Braves and the Phillies. And that'll be on Sunday Night Baseball. So coverage starts at 4:55.
Chop off.
Go Braves.
Oh, my goodness. USC, LSU. Tyler, what do you have?
This is going to be first to 50 wins, and I think LSU does. I mean, they've got the defensive coordinator coming over from Mizzou, so I think LSU at least sees some progress week one.
Yeah.
And USC's got UCLA's defensive coordinator. They had a pretty good defense for what they were last year, but I'm not banking on Lincoln Riley winning a big game until he shows he can.
Yeah, I got LSU, man. Lincoln Riley is just, he doesn't know how to win big games, so I'm with Tyler on that one.
Yeah, I'm riding with LSU. I don't think it's going to be as close as the spread says, personally. I think LSU is just leaps and bounds better.
All right, we go to Big Cloud. He's got the Tigers. Chef Ross got LSU. Dalton, LSU. Nick, LSU. Caveman Rick, undecided on this game. You actually skipped over this one, and the one time that I actually read your paper, LSU USC.
Oh, I didn't circle that one?
Yeah. He's got Wyoming in the previous game. He's going with the family of Brian Kelly, and that will be the LSU Tigers. I'm also going with LSU. I do think that they win this game. I think that both of these teams throughout the year struggle. Honestly, I see USC being a 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, which is kind of outlandish territory for the Trojans. And for LSU, I would not be surprised. I'm not going to sit here and say bold take, because that's our guy, Coach Brian Haddad. He's got the bold take that Brian Kelly will not be with LSU next year. However, I'm in full agreement with him. I don't think he's there either. Maybe he's leaving for, as he did from Notre Dame, greener pastures. We'll see what ends up happening. But I am taking LSU in this game against USC. I love your take there, first to 50 wins. USC last year couldn't stop nobody, and they had Caleb Williams at the helm. LSU this year, how are you going to sit here and tell me that your offense is going to be better under Garrett Nussmeier than it was under second place in the Heisman voting last year, Jaden Daniels? I don't believe it. Don't care what you say. Show me on the field.
Heisman winner last year, right?
Huh?
Heisman winner.
Wait, was it Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman? Oh, that's
second pick, but
yeah,
Heisman winner.
Second pick, Heisman winner. There you go, Jaden Daniels. Man, I've been off on that all off season, brother. Yeah, no doubt. I've said that multiple times now. So thanks for the correction. I just felt like it was Caleb Williams to win from the daggone beginning of the season, and hey, he played well enough. But yeah, Jaden Daniels.
The finals, was he?
Caleb Williams wasn't a finalist?
He may not have been up there.
He had to have been because he didn't have like the...
They lost like 5 games.
Right.
I don't
Hey, let's go to our final game here before we try to wrap up the show. I do want to let Chef Ross talk a little bit about this Connor Stallions ordeal if he's... in the area, because he is cooking up a great meal with us this evening here at Boston Tim's house for the Boomer Bust 850 Fantasy Football League. And for all of you who joined us at PCB Hobby for the ESPN Northwest Florida Fantasy Football Draft, man, that was a blast, and we appreciate you guys. We also appreciate all of your communication through whatever means it may be. Boston College at Florida State, Monday evening at Doak Campbell State. Oh, man, this is huge for Florida State, right? Real quick, give me a brief answer. Does Florida State need to cover 17.5 points for you to believe in them? And I do want to say we are picking this game with a spread, but for your belief in your Seminoles, do they need to beat Bill O'Brien's Boston College Eagles by 17.5 points?
We need to win by at least 3 scores. So, yes.
Yes.
To make it, we can't win a little 3-point game against a Boston College team. So, yeah, we have to win by at least 3 scores for me to believe it. And it's going to be hard because I can't remember the last time DJU beat anyone by 3 scores.
We're going to need to check the... all right.
The mighty has fallen.
This is my theory going back to DJU's first year starting at Clemson. When they beat a team in their conference by 3 scores, I'll start believing he can do it. I'm not sure he did. And so until he proves me otherwise, I'm taking Boston College with the points. Florida State wins. I believe DJU can win by 3 scores when I see it.
There you go. Let's see here. Oregon State from last year. Go ahead, Max. While I'm
So yeah,
finishing
17
this
and a
up.
half. I'm going to take Boston College all day. FSU kind of luck boxed last year with that 2-point win. There's a lot that could have gone wrong there. I still think FSU wins, though, by like 14.
All right. The computer's lagging.
And I'm not sure it even feels super competitive. From what I saw, I don't feel confident that Florida State's going to be a wide open scoring machine by any means week 2.
There we go. All right, so you heard it here first from the Afternoon Underdogs. Going to be trying to pull up that 2023 season of results there from Oregon State. Let's get back to our picks from Big Cloud. He's got the Eagles of Boston College. Chef Ross going Boston College. Dalton going FSU to cover. Nick going FSU to cover. They are Florida State fans, so that makes plenty of sense. And I think Chef Ross and Big Cloud were just trying to kiss up to Boston Tim over there with Boston College. Me personally, FSU's got to do this, man. FSU has got to win by 17.5 points. Norvell's job is not going to be in jeopardy. Even if they lose 3 games this year, I don't think his job's in jeopardy. He's done a great job over there. But the players of Florida State need to reflect how good of a coaching job Norvell has done to this point. I'm not going to sit here and stand up and lie to you that Norvell had a great game plan in week 1 against the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. I'm not going to say that. However, what we've seen from Norvell to this point, you got to believe that this team can be inspired. I mean, when Jordan Travis went down last year, it would have been easy to be like, yeah, I got whoever's playing FSU, right? But what they do, tighten up defensively. They had a great defense, sent a lot of kids to the NFL. But they tightened up even more so to make sure that the second and third string quarterbacks could come away with wins in games that really did matter at the time. And then the committee decided, I guess it doesn't mean as much to us as some of the other games out there. But that's on the committee, not on David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs. With that being said, 2 minutes, and Chef Ross not in here, so we're just going to kill the show out with that.
Yeah, we can just,
I'm taking Florida State to cover 17.5.
I think we should all, take these last 4 days here to, appreciate FSU being the first 17th place team in the ACC.
Oh, man. That's such an odd number to have a conference at, right? 17 teams.
Like having an odd number as
It's like
a whole
the Big
is
Ten
weird.
having 16 or 18.
Big Ten, but that's an even number, though. You know what
Having
I mean?
an odd number is just
because
an odd thing. Like,
SEC's at 16, but Big 12 might be at 18, right?
16 maybe?
Big East.
Maybe 16, because I think they did drop down to 8, then 12.
Big East
and
basketball might have gotten up to 17 at its peak.
Really?
You remember how big those conference tournaments were?
The Big East was one of the conferences that you don't know nothing about it in football when they had a conference together, but in basketball you sure know about the Big
They had
East.
Miami and Virginia Tech back in the early 2000s.
All right, we had a trial of the Big East there in the football world. Let's see here. Oregon State, did DJU beat any? Hey, Oregon State beat Stanford last year, 62-17. Give DJU some flowers, y'all.
Right.
Give DJU some flowers. Hey, listen. Obviously, it was not the greatest game for DJU. Can he bounce back? We'll see. I want to see more Toa-Philly. Listen, Roydell Williams will come along, right? But the offensive line has got to give some space for the running backs to get through there,
I think
right?
if you're Florida State, the biggest concern is 31 rushes, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like the rushing statistics were awful.
Yeah.
Jalen Lucas looked great, though.
Jalen.
Go Hoosiers.
He had, 2 carries for 13 yards?
Yeah.
I think that's what he finished up with.
Started.
Why did you get away from that, though, right? Like, it worked, and then it's like you had your whole game scripted and you weren't getting away from it. Doesn't matter. We are out for today. Just remember, Coach James Hale Show is going to be live at 7 in the morning. Inside Drive back at 11. And the Afternoon Underdogs will be back in studio tomorrow. We've got a great show lined up for you tomorrow. In fact, we're going to be talking with a new sports guy for the News Herald. Just remember, Jesus loves you. So do I. Y'all have a great afternoon.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your touchdown headquarters for the Mosley Dolphins and the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
Plus, premier college and NFL games.
Incredible!
Your source for the most live football on the Gulf Coast in a rich audio experience.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 78 and a wind 3 to 7 miles per hour. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and a temperature of 87. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 90 with possible thunderstorms and some sun. Mostly sunny in the morning, but otherwise